Hi guys, Mr. K here again, and this week we are going to be doing a directed drawing of a plant and labeling the parts of the plant. This is an important thing for us to know how to do. Now, I was out in my garden this morning, and this is something that you guys can do also. And I just went on a little exploration, a little hunt to see if I could find a good example of a plant to show you guys all the different parts of the plant. Now, the first one I came across was this dandelion, and I think this is a dandelion. It's a weed, and usually we're pulling these things up out of the garden. And so you can see from this dandelion here, you can see on the very bottom, right down here, these little tiny things here, we have the roots. These little feathery things are the roots that go down in the soil. You can still see some of the soil attached there. And then this long thing that is like a straw, you know what that is, right? That's the stem. And all the way up the stem, we have here, you can see the leaves of the tree. And they're to collect the sunlight. And then way up at the top, you see the flowers on this. Now this is a dandelion. I pull these things up all the time. I don't want them growing all over my yard. Then Mrs. Kostelik pointed out that we had a little volunteer lavender. That means a lavender plant, a little flower that just kind of grew on its own. And this one, you can see, look at all those roots on there. Look at them. All of those things to take up the nutrients in the soil. And here is the stem, and we have the leaves and the flower up at the top. Beautiful flower. This is an interesting one. Mr. K found this. This is an oak tree. And you can see the acorn right here. There's the acorn. And when the roots came out, it sent down and it went down into the ground. These are the roots. It doesn't have really bushy roots. It just has little ones like that. And then this is the stem, and here are the leaves. And if I left this in there for years and years and years and years, it'd be a big oak tree. But I dug it up here today. So what we're going to do, pardon Mr. K there, what we're going to do, oh, and I also have, I took this off Mrs. Kostelik's shelf. Look at this beautiful flower here. And you can see the flower, you can see the leaves. There's some stems right there to take all the nutrients up. Now you can't see way down in there. I'm not going to pull it out. The roots are down here. They're down in the soil. So today, why don't we go ahead and you'll need a white piece of paper, and you're going to want your paper to be like this, up and down, vertical, like this. And we're going to draw and label a sunflower, just like Van Gogh did. He loved those sunflowers and stuff. So what we need to do first is right across, right down here, not in the middle of our paper, but right here, I'm just going to draw the horizon line. That's where up above is sky and down below is dirt or soil. And in order to draw my plant, in order to draw it, I'm going to draw, first thing I'm going to draw is I'm going to just draw a line. Your line can be a little squiggly if you want, because plants don't always have perfectly straight lines. Now, you know what this is, right? That's going to be my stem. And going down under the ground, once it's down under the ground, I'm going to put out some, you just want these to be kind of wiggly lines, because that's what our roots look like. And you could see it in our little example right here. See those? Look at those roots. So I want it to kind of look like, now there is one big one right there, but mostly it's just bushy like that. So I'm going to just make them like this. I'm going to make them kind of come off each other, and you can just make them like squigglies. They look just like the veins in our body that take our blood all over and feed our tissues in our body. But I'm going to just make these go down. We're just going to make some little squigglies just like that. You can make a bunch of them. And they are the roots. And they are grabbing onto the soil. That's what the roots, they bring up the food and the nutrients. They soak them up, the water, but it also keeps the plant tight and grounded to the earth so it doesn't just blow away. Now, partway up, I'm going to put a little thing here like that, and I'm going to make, you know what this is, right? That's right, it's a leaf. I'm going to make a leaf, and I'm going to put some little veins on that leaf too, just like that. Okay? I might put another leaf right over here. And sometimes they come up, they'll be at different heights. They won't be all at the same. So they kind of look like a little water drop. And lots of leaves are different. The lavender leaf looked different than the rose leaf. So I'll just do that, like that. Now, in order to make my big flower up here, I'm going to make a big flower head up here. I'm going to go a little bit above my stem, and I'm going to put a nice circle like that. Pardon me. Perfect. And then I'm going to just make what look like little leaves coming off all the way around my flower. And just like Van Gogh with his sunflowers, he just went all the way around. You guys can do a good job of this, just going all the way around your sunflower. Just like this. I'm going out, I'm going to a point, I'm going back, just like that. Maybe room for one more. Look at that. Now, what I want to do is with the sunflower, there will actually be some more petals of the flower behind these petals. So I'm going to put one hiding back there, maybe one there, and I can make them kind of bending. How about one just like this, right down by the stem? And another one, and one hiding here, and one hiding between those, just like that. Perfect. Awesome. Now, in a sunflower, we're going to have lots of seeds. This is where the plant makes the seeds so that you could have another sunflower someday. Now, some of you like to eat those sunflower seeds when you go to like baseball games and stuff. I know Mr. K does. But I'm just going to make a bunch of seeds, and they're going to be more of them. It'll look like on the bottom right here. Okay, so there is our flower. Here's our plant. So now we get to label it. Let's go ahead and label the parts of the flower, okay? So we started with these guys down here. You remember? I'm going to move it up a little closer so you guys can see my writing too, okay? Now, these are the roots, and in a scientific drawing, when we label these things, we want to make sure that we point when we write the word. So here's our word. I'm going to write roots. R, lowercase r, and a hook, and then O, O, T, right across, and then an S, roots. Good. And I want to point to those roots. So I'm going to make an arrow pointing right to the roots, just like that. Perfect. Now, we remember what this part was, right? This is the part that takes up all the nutrients in the water up to the flower, up to the leaves, and like that. That is the stem. So I'm going to come way over here, and I'm going to write S, T, E, M, stem. And I'm going to make a little arrow. I'll point it from here, from the middle of the word. I'll make it go right and point right to the stem, just like that, so people know what it is. Perfect. Now, I want to show that this is a leaf, right? So right above it, right next to it, I'm going to put L, lowercase l, E, leaf. And I'm going to draw an arrow pointing right to that leaf right there. Perfect. Now, you know what this part is right up here, right? Right, that's a flower. So, flower is a big word. I've got to find a spot that I can fit flower in there. Maybe, let's see, I'll back up a little bit. Maybe I can fit it in up here. I'll have to write it a little smaller, but I'll write it with you guys. Okay, flower is spelled F, lowercase f, L, lowercase l, one line down, O, good, W, down, up, good. And then a lowercase e, good. And then a lowercase r, straight down, back up, a hook. And I'm going to boop. That's the flower right there. Perfect. Good job. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to color this beautiful paint or drawing that we just did. So, Mr. K is going to move it. Let's see. We got it right here. We ready to color? You have your color crayons? Awesome. Okay. So, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do a beautiful yellow on, now most of the things on this plan, we're going to do yellow to start, and then we're going to build some colors over them. So let's start with our petals of our flower. I'm just going to do a nice light yellow on top of all my petals, just like that. Awesome. And I don't have to go I'm going to go kind of quick. I'm going to just put a nice coating. And I'm even going to put a little coating of yellow inside my flower, in the middle of my flower, where the seeds, the sunflower seeds are. So I'm going to put a light coating in there too. Nice and light. Now, what I'm also going to do is most of our stem and leaves are going to be brightly colored too. So I'm going to put a little bit of yellow to start, but I'm going to stop right at the soil line right here. I don't, that when it goes under, there's no sunlight, so there's no colorful green under there, at least on this flower. So I'm going to do a little bit of yellow. So everything above the ground is a nice yellow. Now, what I want to take now is I want to take my orange, and I'm going to give a light dusting of orange on my petals of my sunflower. So a nice, beautiful dusting, just like this. All right. Now I'm going to go a little darker on some of them that are hiding behind. You'll see. And that'll give it, like we did in our other drawing, a little bit of three-dimensional quality. So I'm going to just color just like that. I want it nice and bright. But now I'm going to go to these guys that are hiding behind, and I'm going to make them a little darker orange where they are hiding behind that guy. See how I'm doing that? I'm putting just a little bit darker orange. I'm pressing a little harder with my orange, but it's where the shadows are back in there. So I'm hiding there. Now I also want to do, I'm going to do a little bit, maybe I'll put a little bit on the tips of these guys in the front. So I put a little bit hiding in the back with the other ones, but I'm going to put it on the tips of these because they're kind of bending in the light a little bit. And I'm going to just do a little bit right next to the seeds. Look how I'm going right around. And that's going to give me a little bit of depth right there. It's going to make it look like it goes in around this seed area of the flower. Oh, that looks great. Ooh, I like that. That's a beautiful sunflower. Now, sunflower areas have a little bit of green in them when they're growing. So what I want to do is I'm going to just go like this, and I'm going to put a little dusting of green. Not a lot of green, just a little dusting of green in there. And maybe a little darker right on the bottom there. And I'm also going to put a little bit of brown in there too. I'm going to put a little bit just right in here. I'm going to put right around the edge in there. I'm going to put some brown. Just like that. Okay. Good. Just like that. Maybe a little darker right on the bottom so it looks like it has some shading on there. Okay, good. Now, you know what color we're going to do over the leaves, right? And the stem? That's right, we're going to do some green. We're going to put some green in here. And I'm going to give it my leaves some green color. And I'll do this one over here. And shade it in. And those little parts there. And I'm going to go right down my stem. You see how the yellow makes it look like it's like really bright. Now I'm going to give my leaves a little bit more shading and 3-dimension by doing just a little darker on the bottom like this. Like away from the sunlight that's hitting it on the top. Just like that. And that gives it a little bit more where it turns around the leaf a little bit. So a little darker right on the bottom. Now, we've got to figure out what we're going to do with these roots because most dirt or soil is brown. And these guys, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to give them a little bit of, I'm going to trace over them in orange first, my roots. Because really they're kind of a tan color a lot of times when they're under the ground. They're almost, here's a big word, they're almost translucent. They're almost like a clear straw. But I'm going to just give them a little bit of orange so we can kind of see them like that. I'm going to trace over them like that in orange. And then I'm going to give my soil a nice, soft, I'm going to just go right around here. And I'm going to give my soil, I'm not going to do dark brown because I still want to see my drawing. I still want to see my leaves. So I'm going to just do a nice shading. Look at that. That's where that dirt is, all that soil is hanging on to the plant. It's hanging on by the roots there. It builds around them. And the roots dig down through there, and they hang on tight. Okay. So, I think that's good. That shows our soil there and stuff. Now, if you would like to, you can always do a little bit of blue around your flower to show the sky. It's up to you. If you'd like to, you can give your drawing a little bit more color. Just go right around everything with a little bit of soft blue. Just nice soft. That kind of fills it in and it gets rid of a lot of the white on the paper. And you might want the white on the paper, you might not want the white on the paper. So Mr. K is gonna I'm just gonna go right around. And I can even go a little bit and make it a little bit darker right around the flower, right? And that makes a more dramatic effect on my flower. So I could just keep going. Now this is the time where you want to maybe just have some nice music on and you're just gonna fill this in. Now you can go with light color right over your labels too. A lot of scientific drawings that people do, they will just go right over with the color. They'll print right over their words. As long as you can see the words, because we want to be able to show this. And if anybody sees our drawing, they're going to know what the parts of a flower are, what the parts of this plant are, just by seeing the labels that we wrote on there. So I'm going to just go right down, and I'm going to go right to the horizon line. That's where the dirt, the land meets the sky. That's the horizon line there. And There we go. I think that's pretty good. I think that's good enough to show the parts of a plant. You guys did a great job today. We will have another directed drawing of a plant later this week, and that one is not going to be a scientific drawing. It's going to be a silly plant drawing, just for fun. So look for that one, that directed drawing lesson. It'll be coming to you in just a few days. Take care. Bye-bye.